Welcome back to Leafs fans in hostile lands. Daniel is in a classroom this time. It's fun. There are fruits and pencils around him. That's his background on our Google Meet. Craig is non-existent because internet and things and doesn't matter. You know what does matter? Dion Phaneuf retired. That matters,
does matter.
Right?
It does matter. I'm also not unhappy about 4 points.
Oh,
That is also true.
What? It is 4. 6.
Oh, there's 4 games last week.
Yeah.
Oh, there were 4 games. I'm
Yeah.
only thinking of
Yeah.
the 3.
Because we had Preds,
Of course.
Rangers,
Of course.
Penguins. Won't talk about that one. And Islanders. And you want to know
Whoa.
how many
It's been a
goals
long week.
were scored against? 3.
That's not bad.
Jesus.
I love Jack Campbell so much.
And
So
Joseph
much.
Wall.
Yeah.
What a guy.
and
What a Wall.
apparently.
Geez, first career shutout on his second game.
Yep.
Yep.
Not
And he
bad.
They
didn't
just
look bad.
mauled him. Just mauled him. Okay, back to Dion Phaneuf. Okay, we'll get to that stuff. He was our captain for a number of years.
Yes,
that
sir.
was exciting back then. They were a bad team when they had Dion Phaneuf and Brian Burke as their GM. But, you know, it was part of the 2013 Leafs that shouldn't have made the playoffs and lost game 7 up 4-1.
It was
You know
all
that
Randy
stuff.
Carlisle. They wouldn't have done it without him.
Right. Good Lord.
They did it in spite of Randy Carlisle.
They had a cool ceremony video stuff for Dion Phaneuf, and I thought it was nice. I think I saw some of it. I saw
That
it
was
on
classy.
YouTube.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, I
nice.
like
It was
that.
classy.
I liked it.
Mhm.
Really
And I like
painted
that
him in
he-
a rosy light.
Yeah. And I like that he came back, to the Leafs and retired. Did he retire as a Leaf?
No,
Like one-day
I don't think he
contract?
signed a
I don't think so. I
contract or
think he
anything.
just retired at the Leafs building.
Right, because he spent the most time
Yeah.
with the Leafs, as
That's
I
why.
imagine, and was a captain.
And I don't know if you remember, I think it was just before the pandemic. He was actually spending some time with Brendan Shanahan up in the executive offices, kind of shadowing him a bit, trying to get a bit of a hand on the executive side of the business. And I would love to see Dion Phaneuf show up as a general manager or, even a scout or something. I think that's kind of his plan at this point. Now he does have a young kid and he's got another one on the way, but the word is when, his life settles down a bit, he wants to get back into the game somewhere.
I could see that. That would be fantastic. He always had good hockey sense.
And apparently people love him. And just what we saw in the media in Toronto was the 180 of who he was. Apparently he's actually a very extroverted, loud, well-spoken guy. And all we kind of saw was, yeah, we didn't play very well.
Maybe that's because of the team he was playing for.
He was pushed into a lot pretty quickly.
And the players he was with, Phil Kessel.
Hmm.
It looks like they didn't get along very well, but that's okay. Sometimes it happens, right? That would be an interesting role for Dion Phaneuf. I wonder if his media speaking would be better, or if it's actually better that he kind of does have that kind of blank persona when talking as a GM or as an executive.
Well, Jim Benning is a GM in this league. So clearly you don't need, public relations skills to be a GM.
Charisma at all.
You're just ragging on them already, eh, Craig? Why not start it off?
Just foreshadowing.
Yeah, fair enough.
Dan, you had a couple things to say before we started recording about Dion Phaneuf. What were some of the favorite things during his Leaf tenure?
Well, I mean, I'm going to do a good one and a bad one. And he gets a lot of flack because, he was kind of nicknamed in a lot of circles as the pylon. I don't necessarily feel that he always lived up to that. I really liked him. I thought he was a good player. The negatives I had for him, he was a pincher. He would go for that offensive spot in the offensive zone and kind of not always fall back as quickly as he needed to. And I remember a bunch of 2-on-1s and stuff, but that's not the best memory. The best memory of him I have is always waiting for the puck to get back to him at the point, because he had a clapper that could just sail, and he would put it in the net often enough that you wanted him to get the puck, at the top of the circle, and you'd be like, okay, give it to Phaneuf. And then he'd throw it in and something good would happen. So that's my good and bad. Overall, I like the guy. He was a great player. I think he was a good captain. There's a couple other things, but I think we'll get into that.
Has there been another defenseman that has like a FNUF clapper since?
I was just about to say that. I don't think so.
That's
I
a
can't
good
really think of
question.
anybody.
Definitely not on the team right now.
No, not right now. Riley's trying.
Yeah.
You know what? I would say Riley's probably the closest in recent memory. Because he
doesn't really
takes
have
a
a
lot
clap.
of
He's
shots
got a
from-
good wrist shot.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
I think the closest would be Muzzin, but even he doesn't
Mhm.
really have. Gardner tried for a while, like he took
Yeah.
shots, but he didn't have a bomb like FNUF did.
Definitely not Hainsey. Definitely not Polak.
No.
And Dan, speaking of your pylon comment, I think somewhere on one of my computers, I still have a picture of a pylon in Ottawa Senators stripes with FNUF's number on the front that I made somewhere
Nice.
down the line.
As a promo for something. I don't know where he got that nickname because I don't necessarily think he was terribly
Well, it's because he really what the better turn or thing would be the turnstile, because he did get turnstile more than anybody else. I think it was just that he was the practice pylon at practice that players would just skate around.
or maybe it's the pylon because he would just let the opposing team go by and just watch them go. And what's easier to skate around than a pylon?
Exactly.
One thing that Dion Phaneuf did mention during one of his interviews was the infamous salute gate.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember what year this was. I think it was a year after the lockout. And
It was 3. No, wait. What did I hear? It was 8 years ago last week.
Okay,
Um,
gotcha.
because
it was
it
after
was
their
2 games
9-2
after the
drubbing?
9-2. Yeah, it was the game
Yeah,
after that.
2013-14.
That sounds right.
So they lost to Nashville 9-2, and then they won the previous game. But since the fans booed them so hard on the 9-2, they decided, allegedly as a team, to not salute the fans. And Dion Phaneuf thinking like, that's something I definitely shouldn't have played that way, or should have relayed something different to the media based on that. Like that was not a good way to play it, considering fans still came to the game. And they pay the paychecks and pay the bills and everything. What do you guys think about Salute Kate? Do the players owe the fans a salute, or was it justified potentially? Craig, what do you think?
You know what? That never really bothered me all that much because the fans were being dicks. The guys, sure, the players are playing. The front office wasn't giving them anything. The coaching wasn't giving them anything. And people are throwing waffles on the ice. They were wearing bags on their head. They were throwing jerseys.
Yeah,
Honestly,
jerseys.
if you're going to be a dick like that, then the players don't really owe you all that much. Sure, there's enough people at home that are fans that want to be there. If you're going to boo them like that, then stay home.
It's a lot of money though for a Leafs ticket.
Stay home.
Yeah.
You
Well-
knew what they were before you walked into that game. You knew what they were before that season started.
That's true, and people still know who they are now. And Not
we saw a
everyone's showing
jersey
up.
on the
They are
ice this
staying home.
year. Like,
oh, we did. Yes, I
Mhm.
forgot. Right.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a holdover from
From last season.
the previous playoffs when there were
someone
no
just
fans,
had their jersey, just bought a ticket just so that they can throw it.
just ready to go. I'm surprised it wasn't on fire already. Some Molotov cocktail with a freaking jersey. That'd be messed up. But they're not throwing jerseys on the ice anymore. We just had a 5-game win streak, followed by a loss, followed by a shutout, which obviously means we're going to have another 5-game win streak. So that's great news for the Leafs, meaning they've won multiple playoff series in the past couple weeks. It's nothing to worry about in the spring. Nothing to worry about. No anxieties about this team. We're fine. We're fine. This is fine.
They're at what, 10 of 12 now they've won?
Yeah.
10 of
Yeah.
12.
It's pretty
It's-
incredible.
One of the hottest teams in the league right now.
Oh, for sure.
It's
Well-
really, really looking good. I would say full-on dominance against the Preds and the Rangers.
So have we moved on from FNUF?
Yes, unless you
Okay.
want to add something in.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, man, this is what I do. This is my job.
He was selected to lead, not to read.
Where was I? The dominance over the Preds and the Rangers. Jack Campbell with a shutout against UC Saros, who was arguably the best goalie in the league before Jack Campbell started getting really, really hot. So that's exciting. He kind of overtook him. Shesterkin standing on his head again against, on the Rangers, but the Leafs shut it down. 2-1, not too bad. Penguins overwhelmed by the Penguins. Now, Crosby was back. Rust is back. Letang is back. So a lot of their teams or a lot of their players are back. But I felt they were really, really overwhelmed in that game, especially on the power play. What did you guys see in those first 3 games? Then we'll talk about the Islanders because it's the most recent.
I'm going to respectfully disagree with the Penguins. I think they played pretty well. I don't think they necessarily got overrun in any kind of aspect on the game. Obviously, the power play didn't show for them for the Leafs, and that was unfortunate. But I think they played decently well offensively. The defense played decently, and goaltending was fine. Campbell is bound to let a few goals in. It's going to happen. You're going to get bad bounces. You're going to get goals you don't expect to come.
My fantasy. I need Campbell to get shutouts all the time.
And I understand that, but it's, he's got to get tired. But I don't think they played poorly against the Penguins. I think they might have been nervous because of the 7-1 beatdown that they received the last time. It just seems like the Penguins have their number right now. And, that's probably going to change over the course of the year. They play them twice more? I think it's once more.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, we'll see what happens in the last game, but certainly against the Preds and the Rangers, they played extremely well. The first shutout, that was the Preds, I think. Yeah.
Preds, yeah.
That was just full on dominance. I think that was Marner lighting it up, wasn't it?
Think so.
Yeah.
Let me just double check.
I don't have my stats up for the stats guy, but anyway.
We were told not to look at stats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
Matthews, Marner, Kampf. Yeah, really going for it.
Yeah.
And also Kampf and Kasha, those guys are playing so well right now, and they are just
it
in sync.
It's great having some depth scoring right now.
Isn't it though? It's something weird.
Wasn't it 2 podcasts ago we were saying, we need some depth scoring now, guys. We had 14 goals from the top core 4 depth scoring, and they were obviously listening to this podcast, I think.
Well,
they've been getting chances all the way through, and it's nice to see them actually capitalizing on a couple goals. And it's great to hear. I don't know how we didn't hear this before, but Kampf and Kasho being, childhood friends. And that really makes sense now, seeing how they celebrate like it's a playoff goal every time the other one scores anything or touches the puck. It's great. I think that instant chemistry is just fantastic.
Dubas must have known that, and that's why.
For sure.
He must have.
5D chess. Yeah.
I know. Now, it was Kasha that was signed first. I believe he was signed on the first day with Richie.
Yes,
I recall.
I believe
and
so.
then Kampf was later. So I wonder if Kampf's signing had anything to do with, hey, we already got Kasha. You guys are buddies. We're going to put you on the same line. Come hang out with us.
I don't even care what it was. They're playing so well. Kasha's getting a ton of shots right now.
And he was up on that top line and did well, but then also got put back down to his preferred third line and continued to do well. So really cool line blendering there.
Yeah.
I know you respectfully disagreed on the Penguins game, Dan, but that power play just boiled me. The Penguins were so aggressive on the forecheck, and the Leafs couldn't handle it. They're like, "Oh my god, what do I do? What do I do? There's 2 people. Oh, it's a power play. I think they're supposed to be over there." And the Islanders, I think, saw the tape, and they did the exact same thing. Now the Leafs adjusted, which was really great in the Islanders game, and they got through the Islanders and were able to set up much easier because the forecheck was so aggressive.
Right.
But during the Penguins, that power play was bad. And then similar to the playoffs last year, the Leafs getting a power play was almost a negative. So the penalties came more frequently.
You're right. They were hemmed in their zone for a good part of that power play, and that was really frustrating. That was Saturday night, and I remember we were watching the game kind of on the side, and I was like, they're on the power play. Why can't they get it out of their friggin' zone? What's going on here? And I was just kind of dumbfounded, but then I was like, it's Pittsburgh. Okay. So,
Craig, anything on the weekend games there? Penguins, Islanders?
Honestly, I missed the Penguins game. I turned it on for about 2 minutes during a power play, saw that it was hot garbage and went, I can skip this one. I'll watch tomorrow. But last night they looked fantastic. I know the Islanders were missing a lot of players on COVID protocols, so they were only about a half a team. But the Leafs gave them nothing. They were doubling them up shots 2-1. You know, they were limiting chances, whatever was there. Wall got a great shutout, but he didn't have to face a whole lot, and that's great. If the Leafs can do that every game, Kyle, like you said, there's only 3 goals over 4 games this week. If they can continue that and keep the depth scoring and everything, I think they're pretty set for the moving through the season. But it's great to see them beat the Islanders at home. My favorite tweets today, there was a whole bunch of them saying Islanders 0-2 at UBS Arena. John Tavares 1-0.
Who did they play first?
Calgary.
Oh,
the
that's
day
even
before.
worse.
So
God,
yeah,
oh, that's too bad. I feel good though going into this week. I think we're playing LA, San Jose, Anaheim. There's one more I'm missing, but LA, San Jose, Anaheim. Anyway, one of those,
Avalanche.
LA or San Jose.
And then
three,
Seattle,
just
right?
those 3.
I believe Seattle's the other one.
No, they didn't get them in the swing this
yet.
time.
No.
So it's just California. Then they come back home to play the Avalanche next Wednesday.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Then back on the road to Minnesota.
Correct.
That'll be a fun game.
Mm-hmm. But I feel pretty good about this upcoming week.
Yeah, it's hit or miss with California. When California was really good, it was like, oh God, I'm dreading these 3 games. And then California overall has gotten worse in the past couple of years, or at least they were worse. Now they're kind of back on the upswing. But Toronto's really, really good. But sometimes they just lose all 3 games or lose 2, and they should really win all 3 games. So I'm kind of in between right now. We'll see how much of the games we actually get to watch because 10:30, 8 p.m. We're getting up there.
I was going to say one thing I heard recently that really makes sense. As not an athlete, if anyone could see my body, you would understand that it's really hard on these players to play at a different time because your body is designed. You've trained your body at 7:00 at night. This is my optimal time. This is when we're working. Suddenly, when you throw that back 3 hours, it's just hard to get your body trained onto that different time zone. So it makes sense when guys go out west. Suddenly, you're playing 3 hours later, and it's just not when your internal rhythm is saying this is when I need to be at my peak time to perform.
Which do you think would be harder? Playing later or playing earlier? So playing at your own 10 o'clock or playing at your own 4 o'clock when the West comes east?
I honestly, I don't know. When I wake up an hour late, I'm completely screwed for the rest of the week. So
you're like a 2-year-old. You have to have routine.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing that's encouraging for me, we talked about the Leafs defense a lot at the start of the season when they were losing 4 in a row. And if I look at the top 7 teams or so, 6 or 7 teams in the league right now, their goal differentials are all well up there, like plus 20 something, plus 19. They're really high. And then you look at the Leafs and it's like plus 6 or 7. And I haven't looked, Kyle, so I don't know the exact number. I'm sorry, because I'm trying not to look at stats. But that signals to me that defensively things are clicking. I mean, also watching the games helps, but it signals defensively things are working. Offensively, we're still scoring goals, maybe not as much as the teams that are crushing it right now at the top, but it makes me feel certainly better about the defense. So I'm feeling really good about where the Leafs are right now. Shutouts help.
So the Leafs I saw last night that they have won the most 1-goal games of any team so far this season, which means that they can shut down a game and they're not going to get blown out nearly as much as they have. Also, a 10-goal differential happened over 2 games between the Pittsburgh Penguins and the LA Kings.
Oh,
so if you raise those 2 games, it's like they're plus 17 at that point, and they look much better. So if you take out a couple little gaffes there, then I think that the Leafs overall, their scoring is picking up.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Their defense, they're able to shut it down, which we've never been able to say before. It's always been, when are they going to choke?
Absolutely. There's only been a couple outliers this season where they've allowed more than 1 or 2 goals. But when they have an off night, it seems like everything just falls apart and there's 5, 6, 7 goals in a game. But I can think of, like Pittsburgh, LA, and Buffalo. Beyond that, have there been many that have been, a ton of goals scored?
Nope,
not a
and
ton.
not on our end either, which means
Yeah.
that goal differential is going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah, the Leafs really haven't been racking up the goals like they have in past years.
And well, look at Matthews; he is nowhere
Yeah.
near the top in goals right now.
No, exactly.
He's yet to really hit his stride. He still looks frustrated. Once he gets a goal, it's like amazing, yay! I got a goal, and then he kind of falls off a little bit. I want them to go back to Nylander. I think it was working. Now, again, I'm selfish because Tavares was Marner and Tavares was getting points. Like, that's totally fine for me. But I think Matthews Nylander was really, really clicking, and I'm not 100% sure why they switched back.
Maybe we'll just get Mitch going a little bit.
Well, it's working.
But
Yeah, but he was good with Tavares.
I agree. I would switch the back as well.
And Nylander's kind of on a dip right now, too, so
Yeah,
maybe
a little
that
bit.
bumps him back up.
That is true. Yeah. Nylander didn't have a good game the other night. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been the New York game that he was benched for the end of the game.
I got nothing on New York.
It
for
might have been. I
Nylander.
think he was benched for like the last 10 minutes of the third. Because I think he was responsible for that one New York goal. I could be mixing my games up, but
I remember
yeah,
what you're talking about, though. He
hasn't been
benched.
having a great last week or so.
Speaking of being benched, how do you guys feel about Hall now that he's back?
That's a great segue, Dan. Excellent segue. He doesn't look great.
No.
been
I don't think
fine.
he's better than Liljegren or Dermott, and Liljegren sat for 2 this week, and Dermott sat for the other 2. I don't think that's the best move. I think Dermott can play on the right just as well as Hall can right now. I don't understand the reasoning.
Again, it might be a cap thing. You need to have that money in the lineup. They're playing 5D chess with the salary cap. There might be something that we're just not seeing
That we
behind
don't
the
see.
scenes. Maybe they need to do this to get that extra space to be able to make call-ups, or I don't know what they're going to do when Mikheyev gets back.
I was just going to bring up Mikheyev. That's funny. Yeah, they're kind of
Yeah,
screwed.
go for
eh?
it, Dan. Go for it.
They don't have the space for it.
Well, someone goes. And I don't think it's a real big mystery as to who that someone is right now.
Who is it, Dan?
Shout it from the rooftops.
It's going to be Matthews. He's probably going to be sent down for development. He hasn't been
I think
scoring,
so.
guys. Like, he's got to bench him or send him down. I think he'd be really good on the Marlies. It'd be
5-game conditioning stint.
That's right. That's right. A 5-game condition.
We had to get the Marlies up a couple spots in the standings.
That's right. Yeah. So just send Matthews down for a bit. No,
He's
it's
not doing
obviously
anything anyways.
Yeah, it's obviously Richie. Unfortunately, he just doesn't seem to be panning out for this team.
He got his first even strength point the other night.
Yeah,
Hey, it's
point.
moving up in the world.
That's an assist.
Point
That
one.
wasn't a goal.
It was a good assist.
It was a good
He
assist. It was
pinched, It was
fantastic.
great, and he got it to Kampf, who gave it to Kasha, or the other way around. I can't remember. But you're right. He's not great. And they've put him in, I think, almost every situation except for on Tavares' wing. He's definitely been on Matthews. He's just been on the third line recently, and they put him down to the fourth line, which I thought he was the best down there on the fourth line. He played his role pretty well. But oh my God, that guy looks like a blob out there. Like just doing nothing. No confidence whatsoever. Sometimes lays a hit, and we're like, yes, more of that. Do that. Beat Dion Phaneuf. No. He just
nothing else.
stops.
I think that having him on the third line with Kasha on the other side to balance him out, because Kasha is kind of a bit of a Zach Hyman. You just say go and he doesn't stop. By having him on the opposite side of Nick Ritchie, he's creating a little bit more chaos, and having Kampf being the defensive-minded, he's always in the right spot guy. I'd like to see him a little bit more in that fourth line, or in that third line with Kampf and Kasha. We did see him on the Tavares line in the preseason when Matthews was out. We did see Richie there, and they looked terrible. They looked bad. They did not work. And I basically it's third line or bust at this point. If he doesn't work on this third line, then he's not going to fit anywhere. Put him on defense.
And is that the move when Mikheyev comes back? They just get rid of him because he's not producing?
It has to
How
be.
do you get rid
Honestly,
of him?
well,
It's
not-
a contract.
yeah,
like you have to
point.
trade him and throw in a kicker. It's like, can you just take this cap hit, please?
Somebody take him.
Honestly, that's the only thing you can do. Honestly, I think he'd be going to Arizona with a 4th round pick or something for future considerations.
Maybe. I am seeing Semyonov and Joey Anderson technically on the books right now, and Mrazek is on LTIR. So if Mikheyev came off and they sent both of those guys down, they might have the cap space to have Mikheyev and Richie in the lineup.
Again,
where
we're kicking
one
the
of them-
can down then. What happens when Mrazek gets back? I guess it's Richie. So
Yes,
it's the same
yeah,
conversation.
we figured that out. Or, much like the Leafs have in the past, they wait for the next guy to get injured.
That
Which
always
is
works.
unfortunate,
Give it
like,
3 weeks.
That old Soshnikov thing they did a few years back. It's like, oh, I'm healthy. No, you're not. But I can
Yeah.
play. No, you can't.
Like it happens. It happens for sure. Does Richie bring anything to this team right now?
I don't
Unless he's
think
a
so.
Joe Thornton, he's great on the bench and in the dressing room, then no.
But even
Okay.
on the bench, he doesn't look like he's
No.
chatting with the guys. He doesn't look like he's having fun. I don't know him in the dressing room, obviously, but he just doesn't look like he's fully either
Present.
committed or having fun. And both of those things are needed.
Hey, Nick, get in the game. I'm just here for the refreshments.
Which is hilarious because
There's
I've
free
actually
Gatorade,
served him
guys.
refreshments before.
Yes, you
I
did.
met Nick Ritchie when he was a teenager at a golf club where we were honoring Chris Pronger for the Peterborough Petes, and Nick Ritchie was playing for the Peterborough Petes, and they couldn't drink, so all the Peterborough Petes were there in their ties and shirts, and they ordered Cokes all night, Coca-Cola all night, and he's huge. He's massive. He wasn't as big as he is now, but that's a hilarious segue. Great job, Craig. Right, that was some brain stuff right there.
Thank you.
Okay, the reason I asked the question originally about what does he bring to the team, I hate this, but I think he's the playoff grit we might need.
Right, you said that earlier, and
Yeah.
I think you might be right.
Because it's like a Sam Bennett. He gets good in the playoffs. Now, Sam Bennett's amazing with Florida, but with Calgary, he was only good in the playoffs. He's that extra grit because the rules change. So maybe they're just saying, okay, Richie, get out there, do your best, but when we get to the playoffs, we're flipping the switch. And it's go. It's hit. It's create space. Sure, if you take penalties, you take penalties, but we didn't have that player last year and in years past.
That means the rest of the team carries them for the rest of the season until the playoffs. Like, I just don't see Dubas letting that happen or Keefe letting that happen. Like, I just don't see it happening. If he's not going to produce, he's been tried everywhere to produce and
Yeah.
he's not really contributing. When he gets the puck, I get nervous. Do they hold him that long?
He's gonna get waived.
And then
they're gonna have to
yeah.
just sit out. They'll sit on the $1.5 million cap or whatever it is that they'll have, left over, but they'll have to waive him. Simple as
He
that.
wouldn't get claimed. It's too much of a cap
No.
hit.
And then at that point, then sure, let him play for the Marlies. Oh my God, that would be a big Marlies lineup.
It'd be so huge.
Yeah.
Gabriel, Clune, what's his name? Clifford just got him.
and
Richie.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be huge. Nobody would want to play the Marlies. My Lord.
But
Okay.
they'll have to waive him and then maybe save him for the playoffs. But at this point, then I think trying to carry him for the next 65 games is going to be a mistake.
I agree. Okay, that's enough on the Leafs and enough on wallowing over Richie for week 7. But I think I'm going to skip the Habs stuff today. Maybe even skip a little bit of the Canucks. We'll do a quick questions on the Canucks because I want to get to trivia. Trivia is going to be fun today. Stats trivia. You're probably not going to know these off the top of your head, but if you think about it for a bit, you're going to be able to get it, and we can hopefully get some comments too. Starting with the Canucks, what do you think needs to change? The GM, the coach, or a player? Quick question, Dan.
I mean, they're not having a good season, and I don't know if you can trade a player out and fix that. I don't know if it's like an easy fix you can do with a player. It would either, I think, probably have to be a multiplayer, future considerations plus whatever picks to who knows where. But I think probably the office is going to get shaken up a bit. There's talk about it already. There's talk about kind of divided office right now. And if that's the case, how are the players going to have confidence in the office when, there's turmoil there, turmoil on the ice? Where's the stability come from? So I think it would have to either be some kind of massive blockbuster trade or a a shakeup in the office.
I've actually thought about this one. I think a trade would make a big difference. Now, I've already had the trade in mind. So it would be Oliver Ekman-Larsson traded out for Louis Eriksson, Antoine Roussel, and Jay Beagle. Now, if you make that trade, you can even throw in Carter Garland to sweeten up the pot. Now, if you did that,
and future
it'd be one
considerations.
season. At the end of this season, they'd be out from those contracts. Call it a wash this year. You've still got Pettersson for 2 years. You still have Hughes for 6. And at the end of this year, you can use that money and bring in some new, not free agents. Jim Benning, put the phone down on July 1st. But you have that space to re-sign some of these other guys.
Craig's been drinking.
I was really excited for like a real trade, not a reverse trade of what fucking Jim Benning just did. But you're
honestly,
not wrong.
Would that not make the situation better? Because it doesn't seem like OEL is doing much. Their
I don't think it would make the situation better this year.
Right now,
but you're
no.
absolutely correct. It would next year.
Yeah, I honestly think their lineup is too good right now for the way that they're playing. It's either coaching, but we've seen that Travis Green is not bad, or it's just the terrible decisions one after another that Jim Benning seems to make. And I'm
why I'm going to say GM as well.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember last year, Jim Benning spoke about something about the Canucks being terrible. And I had an impression of him, and it still holds exactly true. Jim Benning, just when he talks, he always just sounds like, because with your foot shoved that far deep in your mouth, it's really hard to have an intelligent conversation. Did you hear his comments about, it's really hard right now for us as players, and they're having a really hard time with the floods in Abbotsford as well?
Oh, yeah. What a stupid comment.
What does that have to do with anything? Like, the guy just has his foot so far in his mouth. I don't know how he picks up the phones and actually signs guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Jim Benning. Just, that's the spark, potentially. Because just somebody else in the room, players do talk to the GM. We saw that in the All or Nothing documentary. Just a different voice, I think, would shake this up. And, do you think that players talk to Jim Benning? Come on.
I think they avoid him like the plague.
Yeah, I think so.
There's that theory out there that Jim Benning is just the puppet for the ownership. Basically said, go do this, whatever you need to do. And at that point, sure, changing Jim Benning's not going to do anything, but for the fans, at least it's going to be window dressing. And it's doing what they want, because they were cheering Fire Benning the other night at the game. So even if you have got another puppet in there, it's going to look better. Maybe have a guy that can just speak better than Jim Benning and can actually bullshit his way through a press meeting at all and just not sound like Eeyore. He sounds defeated, but he doesn't sound defeated.
I don't understand that guy. That's okay. I don't have to, because I don't work in hockey. So, Okay, let's do some trivia. I've got all the questions. I've got all the answers. You guys get to answer them. This is not for a bet, but this is going to lead towards a bet.
Oh, fun.
Best guess, kind of off the top of your head. You can do a little bit of thinking about it. Some of them are obvious. Some of them take a little extra to think about. I got 3 questions for all-time stats for teams. All-time stats for teams, not specific players. I've got 3 questions for players of this season. And then I've got 3 stats for teams for this season. First question, and this is an all-time. Which team of the 32 teams that are in the league right now has the best points percentage all-time? Start with Dan.
Ooh, tough one. I'm going to say Montreal.
Excellent guess. Craig.
Vegas.
You're absolutely correct, Craig.
Vegas. Yeah.
Of course.
But I totally get it. Canadians make sense. They've won the most, and they are, in fact, second.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. I thought they
Craig,
were
well done.
much farther down, but Jesus, second for Montreal over 100 years.
Yeah.
Well, because
So Vegas number 1,
That's impressive.
Montreal number 2. This is a tough one. Who's number 3?
Detroit.
We'll go Craig. Okay, Detroit. Dan?
I think I'll say Boston.
Oh, Boston is 4.
Ah!
Very close. It's the Philadelphia Flyers,
What?
believe it or not.
Really?
Okay, they've
I
only been
know.
around since the 60s, and they had a decade that they weren't great, but they just kicked the shit out of everybody else until they couldn't play hockey against them. So,
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. Detroit actually 12th, believe it or not.
oh, okay.
So what's
They had some interesting years.
what's the percentage for Vegas versus Montreal?
Percentage is 63.4%, and Canadians are 58.5%.
Wow, that's a big spread, but it makes sense. Okay.
Okay. Who has the worst save percentage of the 32 teams that are currently in the league, Dan?
Oh my god,
Points
worst
percentage or
save
save
percentage?
Sorry, did I say save percentage? Sorry, points percentage. We're still on points percentage.
Points percentage. Okay, I will say.
All time.
Oh yeah. That's tricky.
Forever and ever.
I kind of want to say Seattle.
Craig.
It probably is Seattle just because of this year, but I'm going to say second would be Columbus.
It is definitely Seattle.
Yeah.
Because they are 5 and 12 and 1.
Makes sense.
Mhm.
And I don't think this is surprising at all. Arizona is the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Columbus
third?
is third worst of the teams currently going on is actually Vancouver.
Ooh.
Which is
Ouch.
interesting.
no.
That's
They
unfortunate.
actually have a losing record. They are
Sorry, Vancouver.
48.7%.
See, I was sure it was going to be Columbus because they've only ever won, one playoff series and only made the playoffs twice?
Columbus is 49.5.
Hmm.
Out of the 39 teams that are on this list, Columbus is 28 because it's got some of the teams, that no longer exist.
Oh,
yeah, of course,
Atlanta?
Nordiques and stuff.
I guess Atlanta's
Well,
probably
even
pretty
like
high up
farther,
there.
even farther back.
Oh, I guess so.
Okay. Most losses of all time of the 32 teams that are in the league. Most losses of all time, Craig.
Minnesota. Oh, no, wait. It's not percentage. It's most losses ever.
Yeah. Most losses as a number.
I'm going to have to say it's Montreal just because they've been in the league longer than everybody else.
Daniel.
Oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna say give two answers. Most painful losses for the Leafs, but most losses I'm probably gonna go. Yeah, Montreal's a good guess. Oh, I don't know. That's a really tough question. I think
It is
gonna.
original 6.
It is original 6. Yeah, I figured it would be. Okay. I can't go with the Leafs. I'll go with Detroit.
It's the Leafs.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
2,800, 2,835. Next is Chicago with 2,771. Of the original 6, Montreal has the least losses.
Oh,
Just
no.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original 6 are the top 6 of this, of course. Which is the next team that is not an original 6 team that has the most losses? Dan.
Well, I kind of want to say the Sens, but it's not going to be them because they haven't been around as long. So I will say Canucks.
Craig.
See, the Canucks had a few years. There's some other expansion
See, I
teams
can't remember
before
when the
them.
Canucks started. So
Yeah, 72, I believe. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, they're around 50 years.
Yeah. So there was the Kings, the Flyers that have been around since 67, the St. Louis Blues.
don't you say 67.
I'm going to go with St. Louis.
Both very, very close answers. Canucks are 7th. Sorry, Canucks are 8th because we're looking for the 7th place team. St. Louis is 11th.
Okay.
7th is the Kings.
Okay.
So you were close there, Craig.
Okay.
Yeah, you were around it.
I
You were around
was
it.
just guessing at that point between 67 expansion teams.
All right, last one for all time. Which team has the most shootout wins of all time? Now, this is a much lower number because it only came in the early 2000s, but most shootout wins. I think we're at Craig first.
Dallas.
Dan.
I'm going to say Calgary. Not a clue, man. Not a clue.
No.
Yeah, that's
1 in 32,
definitely a
just
tough
guessing.
one. Believe it or not, the New York Islanders with 86.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason for that one.
The 30-sided
who
die, I
has-
just guessed.
For sure. Who has the least?
Toronto.
That is not Las Vegas or Seattle.
Toronto. They never win in the shootout.
I kind of got to agree with Toronto.
It is actually Carolina with only 50. Toronto has 59. So
They're pretty
not,
close.
too far off the bottom, but
No.
but getting down there. Okay, this season, we're looking for this season, and we're looking at players this season. So we're going to do some slightly different stats. Game-winning goals. So which player has the most game-winning goals this season, Dan?
Okay, so it's probably going to be somebody higher up in the standings. I haven't even looked at his stats. I'm not going to say McDavid, but I'll go with Draisaitl.
Craig.
Tyler Bertuzzi.
It is Draisaitl.
Oh!
Well done.
Oh, completely random guess.
I was between the two. I was just not going to say Draisaitl and
Had to be
Bandit.
somebody at the top
I
of the
don't know
standings.
if Bertuzzi, at least on...
He's got a lot of a lot of goals.
Yeah.
So I was thinking with that team, nobody else scores.
He only has 2.
Oh, okay.
Draisaitl only has 5. Now, this is NHL stats, so again, game-winning goals. Who do you think is second, Craig?
McDavid.
Daniel?
I'm going to say Marner.
Oh, so close. Nylander.
No
Oh,
way,
okay.
really?
Yeah, he's got-
Nylander with
yeah.
4. Mangiapane tied in second with 4 as well. Mangiapane is on a tear.
Eat that bread.
Okay. Shooting percentage. Now, I will tell you, I made this last week. The intention was to do it last week. And the answer for best shooting percentage in the NHL was much cooler than last week because it was Alexander Barabanov. That was awesome. And it wasn't 100%. It was like 80% because he'd taken like 3 shots and got 1 goal.
That's hilarious.
But let's just go best shooting percentage on the Leafs, Craig. Player with the best shooting percentage on the Leafs.
I'm going to go with Nylander because all those other ones that don't go in the net miss.
That's fair. Dan.
On the Leafs, eh? Oh, I'm so tempted to. I have Leaf stats up that I'm not looking at. But I want to go with Comp.
Oh, so close. Actually, tied for first. I just looked. Tied for first is Conf. John Tavares is also first.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay, I will tell you that John... No, okay. I'll wait. Who has the best shooting percentage on the Oilers? The Oilers have Draisaitl, the top scorer, and McDavid, the top point... Or no, McDavid is the second as well. So who has the best shot percentage on the Oilers? Dan.
I'm going to stick with my boy Draisaitl.
Correct.
I would say Draisaitl, but as a contrarian, I'm going to say Zach Hyman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just want to check just for that. Draisaitl is the correct answer.
Okay.
Zach Hyman is 7th.
Oh, okay.
Zach Hyman has a better shot percentage than Tavares.
Wow.
Yep.
Tavares'
Well,
shot percentage...
Empty
Sorry.
nets, there's
Yeah.
it's 100% shooting percentage, right? How many empty nets
That's
does
true.
Zach Hyman have?
That's true. I do not have that stat. Zach Hyman
miss
has 16.7%. Leon Draisaitl has 31% shooting percentage.
And he might shoot that all season.
What is John Tavares's and in this case David Comp's shooting percentage? Craig.
15.4.
15.4. Dan.
Yeah.
17.3.
12.5.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's
See-
the highest on the Leafs.
Really?
And 8 players on the Oilers are higher than that.
That's unfortunate.
The
That's
the
why
Leafs
they're up
just
They
aren't
are.
scoring goals. Like, someone like Austin Matthews should be shooting between 15 and 20%,
Mhm.
and he's definitely not.
No, he's at 9.5.
Now, the Leafs do take a lot of shots. Didn't they get 40 shots the other night? So
yeah, 40
that's
against
pretty good.
20.
Yeah.
That was nice.
But they're just not going
Okay,
in.
last stat. It's another Leaf stat. Dan might know this one, but that's
Uh-oh.
okay. Who has the best plus minus on the Leafs? I'll let Craig go first.
Best plus minus on the Leafs. It's not Hall or Muzzin.
No.
And you don't get any plus or minus for power play points. I'm going to go with
I
Brody.
didn't know that.
Yeah, power play doesn't count as plus or minus.
Cool.
I'm going to go with
didn't know
Brody.
that.
Dan.
I'm going to go with Riley.
Riley 2, Brody 3, Kerfoot 1.
Kerfoot,
Jeez.
really?
Really?
Mhm.
Huh.
Wow.
Okay.
What is Kerfoot's plus minus being the top? Dan.
Like half? No, I'll go with I'll go with 3.
Craig.
I was going to say 4.
It's actually just 5.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Very close there. Very close. Okay, that is it for players. Last one. This season stats for teams. Which team, and again, Dan might know this because he already kind of alluded to it, has the most goals for this season? Most goals for this season, Craig.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
That's, Edmonton, for sure.
It is actually Florida.
Okay.
Really?
71. Edmonton second
Okay.
with 66. But excellent guesses.
Jeez.
Who has the most goals against, Dan?
Oh, God. No, we talked about this last week.
I can tell you who's got the worst goal differential.
The goal,
Goals against.
I'm going to say the Coyotes.
I'm going to go with
Right.
also the Coyotes.
It's the Habs.
No.
Oh, really? But they're
Oh.
scoring more goals.
70,
Alan, I'm
70
sorry.
goals against for the Habs. Coyotes are fourth with 67.
4.
Mm.
Wow, they just can't score any goals.
Okay, sorry, tied for third with Detroit. And the Kraken are second with 68, which is why I shot Grubauer into the sun in fantasy. He is gone from my team.
Yeah, no doubt.
But Jake Allen is a fantastic goaltender, and if it wasn't for Carey Price in the playoffs, Allen would have been able to lead them to the finals anyways.
Yeah, he's a great goalie. I feel bad for him now.
I love that face, Kyle.
That's something
Did-
else.
Did no one else ever see that on Twitter last year? It's like, no, it wasn't Carey Price. Jake Allen would have carried them through. No, it was Carey Price.
Okay, team stat. Which team has the best face-off percentage, Craig? Face-off win percentage. Because every team has face-offs.
Florida.
I'm going to say the Leafs.
Ooh, excellent. Well done, Dan. First place, 55.2%. And again, I did this last week, but I updated it today. It was Carolina last week,
Oh,
but they have since surpassed them.
Okay,
We
that's
win
good.
a lot of faceoffs. We have a lot of puck possessions.
it's true.
We just don't capitalize on it all the time.
Okay, last question of the whole trivia. Who has the best points percentage this year? Dan. Which team? Best points percentage,
Yeah,
not top of
yeah.
the league.
Oh God, I feel like I was looking at this the other day, but I don't remember exactly. I'll go with Minnesota.
What on earth?
Carolina.
Craig
Carolina.
gets it with
Oh, of course,
Carolina.
I remember that
Carolina.
one.
Minnesota
they're only,
is,
what,
11th.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But they are leading their
Carolina's,
division.
oh my God. Carolina's still only lost 2 games. They're
Yes.
14-2.
Really?
That's insane. At least, unless NHL hasn't updated yet, but
No, that's right.
14-2. Florida is 13-2 with 3 overtime losses. So they are in second with 80.6%. Carolina with 87.5%. That is an insane save percentage. Or sorry, I did it again. Points percentage.
Wow.
Leafs 8th, not bad. 67.5% points percentage. So
It's always
top
67.
Carolina, Florida, Edmonton, we'll keep going. Washington and then Calgary. So those are the top 5 points percentage. The bet for this week, and I'll go last because I've been master here. Who has the best points percentage next week during our next podcast? Which team has the best points percentage next week?
Can I look at the stats now?
Sure.
Oh, we can? Oh.
Best points percentage next week. Now, it seems like it might be Carolina, no problem, but you put Florida 1 or 2 games, they're up there. You put Edmonton 1 or 2 games, they're up there. Maybe not Washington, but let's start with damn.
It's hard not to say Carolina. I'm going to go with Carolina.
No copies. Craig.
I was trying to look at their schedule, but I'll go with Florida then.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to go Edmonton anyway. They're 13 wins, 4 losses. They get 3 wins. Carolina gets a little fewer. You never know. Also, I just put Stuart Skinner in for fantasy, so he better get me some wins.
So they're going to lose every game this week.
No, they're not. I just got back up to
they
first.
Are.
Get out of here.
The thing that worries me about Carolina is they're on a 4-game win streak. So do they let that go to their head and they screw it up, or is that what propels them to get that top place? So
Freddie is unstoppable this year.
Yeah, we might.
But he's not playing tonight.
Yeah, but they got the rest of the week.
Which is why I didn't.
They've got Ranta.
I figured it would be Ranta tonight and then Freddie for the next 3 games. But that's okay. That's it for us. I hope you followed along with the trivia at home. Maybe comment on what you got on trivia if you beat Dan or Craig. I think Dan won trivia overall. He got closer. Except for the last one. Craig, of course, got that one, so that's exciting. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media. We've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, putting up lots and lots of content on each of them. Give us 5 stars on the podcast. Comment on any of the posts. And go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go. You know, I got the lung capacity of a small whale.